I actually dumped my ETH today. I've been on a mission of dumping it. I've finally done it. I'm out of ETH, or I'm getting out of ETH. I'm tired of ETH. I've been waiting a long time and I'm just giving up on it. I am buying ETH. Yeah, I said it. I said it. After all the times that I've told you that I'm selling ETH, I may actually give ETH one last chance.
In this episode, I am going to give you the literal playbook on how to get rich in crypto without getting lucky by following the simple strategy I followed when I made a 65x last cycle with none other than Cardano. ADA, the coin that seemingly is the dead chain this cycle that just had a massive pump that took everybody by surprise. And I believe this is a lot simpler than a lot of you are making it. So I want to help break that down, make it easy for you. And per the introduction, I want to show you why sticking to your convictions and having a long-term investing mentality is much easier than trying to guess which one of these narratives is going to pop next and what is going to be the next hot, shiny, sexy thing. The other important factor is to decide whether or not you are a trader or an investor, and if you'd like to do both, have one portfolio for investing and one portfolio for trading. A lot of the YouTubers online are traders, and I think a lot of the problem is that some of you watching are kind of in between being a trader and an investor, and therefore will go back and forth on your beliefs, constantly not having conviction in your investments, which will cause you to make less money or no money in these cycles, when in reality, you don't have to get smart or cute in a bull run. You just have to have conviction, load your bags, lock, and set it and forget it, and get ready for what is to come. That's right. It's not always the best strategy to chase everything that is hot on YouTube that all the influencers are talking about, or to go with the same narrative that everyone seems to be chanting, because that's usually when sentiment is at its lowest and generally a good time to buy if things have not changed fundamentally. One of the coins I am speaking about on the stream is Ethereum, and I'm also going to give you the top coins to 20 to 50x in this episode. So stay tuned, because you're going to want to know all this. It's very important that you get this right, because now is the time. Now is the time to build your wealth, continue to build that wealth, to make the generational wealth you've been promised in crypto. There are no guarantees. And what you really need to have again in this market is conviction, and not be shaken out when things go back, because we will have pullbacks between 20 to 30 and even 50% in a bull run. So conviction is key.
Hey, you wanted this, right? You wanted the real deal? That's what this is. Wake up, you're in the middle of it. You want to run, go ahead. No one's stopping you. Stop complaining.
Moving along. Crypto Banter is a friend and colleague in this industry, and I do have a lot of respect for what he does. The reason why I chose to show you this clip is just to say that a lot of YouTubers are trading in and out, and that can be really confusing when you're trying to pack your long-term bags. Now, I'm going to point out some of those not so shiny, not so sexy coins that I believe are going to have massive pumps on this episode, and I'll tell you why. First, we'll get into some news, and then we'll get into the charts. So without further ado, I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, coming to you from sunny southern Marbella, Spain. I love it here. Let me know where you're tuning in from and what you think about Ethereum. Are your ETH bags packed, or have you also flipped to Solana? Let me know, and let's get right into it. So this is the absolute god candle for Ethereum, as suddenly Ethereum has caught everybody off guard, which I have been shouting about from the rooftops from day one about Ethereum. It is not wise to fade the most secure, most robust layer one in the industry that everybody trusts for DeFi. I mean, it just isn't smart to think that this chain is going to go to zero all of a sudden, and institutions are choosing to adopt it, and it has an ETF for a reason. And by the way, it's the only other coin besides Bitcoin with an ETF that is now starting to see massive inflows. I mean, we should have read this from months and months ago and been prepared for this. It's time to play chess. A lot is at stake. Don't mess this up. I'm going to help you go through the playbook that I use to be very successful in this market over multiple cycles. And the truth is, it takes about 2 cycles to start making money. It takes about 3 to truly get rich. Okay? So just stick with it, stick to your guns, have conviction, and do not falter. And just set it and forget it. It's so much easier that way, guys. If you want to trade, though, I am a part of Capital Mindset Trading Group, where we're literally holding your hand, telling you how to trade, showing you the setups that are about to pop off. We've had some real absolute bangers, which I'm going to show you in this episode as well. There is a link in the description below. Now is the time to start learning to trade and to start getting into those those setups that are ready to pop, as all of the altcoins are starting to bubble up now. They're starting to cross over all the major moving averages and looking very, very bullish. So now is the time to learn that. The link is in the description below. If you say Crypto Megan, you get a 10% discount. So here's my chart for Ethereum from forever ago when I revamped this YouTube back in October 2023. Right around this point, I was saying, guys, it's starting to look bullish again. You see, starting to cross above all of these major moving averages, and things were looking really good. And as you can see from there, it was up only until around March when it hit about $4,000. And from March had a very, very long corrective downward cycle in which all of the influencers and everybody was saying this chain is dead. Not all of them, but most of them. The majority of the sentiment was very, very bearish for Ethereum. And I came out and said, do not fade Ethereum. Okay. And here from this price point, 2,250, which was more recently, I was saying that it's still a 2x from its all-time high, and a 4.5 and a 6.5x from my two price predictions for this cycle, which is 10,000 and 15,000. Now more recent, and even before that, when I called it out here, it was an 8x and a 10.6x to those levels. Now, as we go, we get less and less possibility for those massive gains, but there's still a huge gain to be made here in Ethereum. If I believe that it could hit 10,000 and even into the $15,000 territory, this cycle from a price of 3,000 is still an excellent gain, and more the only other ETF, right? Now, SUI, here's the difference, okay? I stayed away from SUI because I saw a lot of people talking about it on social media. I thought this is way too overhyped. I'm gonna let this play out and see what happens. And then I got some information on my world tour that potentially a AAA game was coming over to SUI, would be confirmed soon, and that actually investors were really looking at this and taking this seriously. So it made me reconsider, apart from many other factors, but that was one of the things that made me think maybe I should reconsider loading up some SUI. And I did. And that's the thing. I'm not rigid in my thoughts. I change when I believe that I should, but after time, after I've let the dust settle. So SUI, I came out and I said in my last SUI episode right here, I said, I'm flipping here. I'm now believing that I should hold some SUI because it looks exactly like Ethereum did after it crossed out of this territory that I just referenced right around this point, right before the massive run. And that's where I still believe it is. So although it's not one, it's about 20% pump since I first spoke about it on the channel. I'm actually still loading up these levels. I'm scaling into SUI because I believe that this could be one of the coins to do a 15 to 20x this cycle. Here is the Ethereum chart. As you can see, they call this a bump and run in trading, okay? Now here's the bump phase. Now we're in the uphill phase, and the measured move from breaking out of this bump and run pattern is all the way back up to $4,000. So as you can see, if you didn't get in this accumulation period, things just take off. And what Kevin said is true. The alts truly start running, especially Ethereum, when it's really altcoin season. Now, when is it altcoin season? We'll get to that in a minute, but first, Ethereum will remain the center of gravity for DeFi, not because of a founder's blessing, but because the network itself remains neutral and unopinionated, and ETH remains the best decentralized, permissionless, and censorship-resistant asset to use in DeFi. So this is my point. If you really want to do some serious stuff in DeFi, which chain do you choose? If you do choose Solana, let me know. But the institutional players, they're looking at Ethereum, they're investing into the ETH ETF. I believe there will be a Solana one, and I'm not just a maxi here. I hold Solana, I hold SUI now, I hold Ethereum, but I don't think it's wise to fade an asset like Ethereum that has so much proven history, just like Cardano. Here we have no chain has the same combo of security, programmability, reliability, and speed as ETH. Well, speed might be a little bit of an issue, but as far as robustness goes, it's a very, very secure chain. And here we have a whole synopsis on Sol versus ETH. I won't read this all, I'll just go over some of the key points. You have to look at pragmatically, free of the CT noise and Solana fanboys. The vast majority of crypto applications running in DeFi, DePIN, RWA are all operating on top of L1 Ethereum or L2 Ethereum EVM compatible blockchains like Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, etc. If Ethereum ceases to exist, then they will all likely cease to exist because I can't imagine they would want to function as standalone L1s and compete head to head against Solana. Ethereum is by far the most secure and decentralized blockchain. It's not perfect and it's not fully decentralized, but it's pretty darn close. Institutions clearly prefer the stability, durability, integrity, and security of the Ethereum L1 settlement blockchain. But the question is, do retail investors value security as much as speed and convenience? Very good point. And just to my point exactly, maybe retail has bearish sentiment on ETH. I believe they'll come back. I believe it'll come back. We're seeing the upgrades in scalability and speed for ETH slowly but surely. But institutions prefer it. So there's a place for all of these chains. There's no need to be maxi about any one chain. That's my belief anyway. And Cardano has a similar narrative. It's slow. It was at an all-time bearish sentiment. And all of a sudden, it skyrocketed. Huge, massive pump recently to get the party started because it's here to stand the test of time. It just integrated with Bitcoin to bring DeFi to Bitcoin. We should not fade these old but secure, reliable chains. And by I say old, I mean like that have many more years than the rest of them. I don't think they're going anywhere, especially not if anything fundamentally has changed. And he says, well, he respects Solana, and he's a very much long-term bull on Sol. He genuinely feels it's not a fair comparison. They're two different things. I'm not going to fight the data and try to be contrarian here until there's a clear sustained breakout by ETH. We've already seen that. One of the core metrics I track is how Sol USD is performing against BTC and ETH. It's been destroying them both, but ETH has tens of thousands of highly resourceful and bright developers building some incredible applications. If you're a long-term bull in ETH, please be patient. We just finally hit the bottom of my terminal target range for ETH BTC. If that's not the bottom, I can't imagine we will fall much further from here. Exactly. It's not time to get bearish when sentiment is all-time bearish. It's just not. Here we have ETH BTC likely bottoms this quarter, and then the next 6 months are dedicated to ETH outperforming Bitcoin. Imagine what happens to your ETH beta when ETH BTC starts moving up. Why would you, as a man or woman, sell your ETH beta before ETH BTC rallies? Yeah, and he's saying it's programmed into the cycles. It's happened every cycle. That's it. So let's move on, guys. And I'm going to give you the few factors here as to why you are not prepared enough for what's to come. And it's time to wake up. Wake up, smell the roses. This is it. This is not a fake rally. I mean, everything has changed. Trump just became president, which is hugely bullish for the sector, and so many other factors, which I'm going to point out now. The Fed Chair Powell, the economy is strong, inflation has eased substantially. Nothing else we need to hear. The market is now much more confident, and trillions have come flooding in. I'm going to show you where in a minute. But so the Fed has come out and spoken favorably. A 25% basis point decrease in rates. So rate cuts. It's incredible. The market is starting to get more and more bullish. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has more assets than its gold ETF, which is almost 20 years old. As of Thursday, its assets reached $33.2 billion, overtaking the $32 billion held in BlackRock's gold ETF. My God, this is happening faster than any of us could ever have imagined. And in the words of Anthony Pompliano,
Wall Street is getting invited in anticipation of the greatest show on earth.
Right. Wall Street is in for the show of a lifetime, and we're seeing the effects of that now, of the institutional FOMO. Justin, VanEck says Bitcoin's value will be half of all the gold outstanding, so something like $300,000. Now, when I did the live with Capital Mindset just a few days ago, it shows on the rainbow chart that if we have a similar, it's called Moon Math. It's on TradingView. Go back and watch that stream if you didn't. It shows that Bitcoin could hit somewhere around $300,000 this cycle if history rhymes. And this is what I was talking about. Just in over 1.28 trillion added to the US stock market today. 1.28 trillion and 200 billion to the crypto markets. Markets are saying, they're telling you, they're bullish, they're confident. And this isn't another fake out. This is real. We are in the last phase of this bull run, and it is starting now. Also, we have another metric, which is brand new, is retail starting to wake up. Google search trends for Bitcoin are starting to tick up. You see here, we had a tick up here in like a random tick up, but mainly it's been flatlining and just nothing happening. Retail is starting to open their eyes because Trump became president. He's speaking he will become president. He's talking all kinds of things about Bitcoin. Larry Fink, VanEck, all these guys. I mean, people are starting to wake up now. And the German government is crying, of course. The German government sold 50,000 Bitcoin at $54,000, costing them a staggering 1.1 billion in missed profits. Bitcoin prices surged since, leaving the decision to sell looking very costly. Don't bet against Bitcoin, guys. Don't bet against Bitcoin. Here we have Michael Saylor says, no one's ever lost money over the course of 4 years holding Bitcoin.
So about this possible winter, are you really not feeling the cold?
Look, if you're going to invest in Bitcoin, a short time horizon is 4 years, a mid-time horizon is 10 years. The right time horizon is forever. You know, Warren Buffett said, you know, if you wouldn't hold it for 10 years, you shouldn't hold it for 10 minutes.
Boom. Well, the cool thing about that is it applies to my investing thesis in that, like, I've got two portfolios, and one I've got my core foundational pillars, and the other I've got my trading things, assets. So just know which ones are which for you guys. And here, the other most important chart, the total 3, which excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum, has broken out of this ascending triangle and is looking very, very bullish. Right now, we're right around the $668 billion mark. Measured move is $780 billion and beyond. This is just starting to start. Now, the other important metric is Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, we peaked out a little bit here on Bitcoin dominance. That's the money flowing into Bitcoin. And when it starts to pull back, that's when altcoins start to run as the money starts to flow into altcoins. Now, I don't believe we're at the point in the cycle where we're going to see altcoin mania for the next 6 months, but this is the beginning of like the pre-altcoin season, which the strong players will show their true colors. So, of course, we have to have a look at Cardano and the measured move for Cardano. As you can see in the group Capital Mindset, the link is in the description below. Please, I urge you to highly consider this. It is life-changing. It taught me how to trade, and there's a lot of money to be made this cycle in both investing and trading, and even swing trades, meaning you buy and you hold for weeks or months and then you sell. So there's all different types of trading styles for different investing styles. In the group, we were calling to accumulate on support if the market gives you the opportunity. You see it has given us several opportunities, and now we've broken above, and we're just around, I believe, the 42-cent mark as we speak. And I believe that Cardano could go anywhere from $6 to $8 this cycle. Very bullish news for Cardano integrating with Bitcoin, bringing DeFi to the Bitcoin blockchain. And it's just one of those ones that's reliable, steady, and always the one that says that's faded, that's bearish, it's a ghost chain, all this and that. I mean, the same narrative as ETH, but when they pump hard and they leave everybody behind. So it's one of my higher conviction plays and in my more long-term stable portfolio. Here we have ADA has 0 token unlock scheduled for the rest of time. Cardano is the most secure chain that has and will never shut down. ADA is a hard capped asset that doesn't need a burn mechanism. Cardano is a higher MAV than the entire top 10 combined, and ADA is about to go parabolic. I would agree with him. I would agree. So another one on my list naturally is Solana. I did have a target for Solana this bull run, anywhere from $500 to $800, and more likely $800 if things get heated. I've moved that up to $1,000 now. So yes, Solana is great, great long-term hold, similar to Ethereum. I think they're already a pretty higher market cap, but that they could do very, very well this cycle. One to have in the foundational pillar portfolio. Pepe, if you don't have any meme coins, Pepe is a really, really great one to have on your radar. As you can see here for CoinMarketCap, the total supply, max supply, and circulating supply, everything is out there. FDV of 4.5 billion almost. And Dogecoin, just to give you some context, is at 30 billion now. Just to catch up to Dogecoin, we've got about a 6x from here, more than a 6x. So I think that Pepe as an ETH beta play could do very, very well. It's a meme coin in the ETH ecosystem, and also just to have exposure, right? Like I said, this is how to get rich in crypto without getting lucky or crazy, right? You find those high conviction plays that got some gas left in the tank and full throttle, full speed ahead. So I do hold Pepe. I think it's a great one this cycle. And here we have Propy. Now, this was a much smaller market cap coin that I talked about when I started consulting for them in November 2023. The price is about 40 cents. It ran all the way up past $4. It was a phenomenal run. And we started to see the network effect of all the marketing of building on base of all of, everything that was done. It was a really cool ride. And then people started to say, oh, you see, Propy's dead, Pro is dead. If you would have bought, you'd be down. First of all, taking profits is very important. Second of all, this is just the beginning for Propy, for Pro, the Pro coin. So here's the chart that I mapped out when I first started consulting for them. I brought it to everyone at 50 cents. And I was saying then that the all-time high was $6.15. It's a 12x from 50 cents. And for my price prediction, which is $10 to $15, a 20 to 30x from that. And then I went on to say, if it reaches $1 billion market cap, it would be a $10 price. $2 billion market cap is a $20 price. Now, Zillow had a market cap of 10.6 billion, now has a $17 billion market cap. Tim Draper is invested in this. He believes this is the future of real estate on chain. I mean, if that is the truth, this is a sleeping giant in the making. So Propy Pro has now had this mega god candle as well for everybody saying it was dead and that this is, not a good investment. I would not agree. Now, this is never financial advice. It's just what I'm doing. So do your own research. But after having worked with this team, been on the ground, seen who they associate with, the Twitter spaces that they have, this one is on the top of my list to generate wealth this cycle. Next up, we have Avax. Avax, don't forget, is also the institutional choice of JP Morgan with their Onyx platform for tokenizing assets, and also where the most popular blockchain game Off the Grid is built. And I believe there's huge news coming out for Avax, another sleeping giant that nobody talks about. It's not sexy. It's not one of those influencer pumped coins right now, right at the moment. I think it's an interesting buy, and we could see 10 to 15x this cycle and beyond. Next up, we've got Theta. Theta Network. As you all know, have been following this channel, one of my top coins in my foundational pillar. We got Theta, ETH, Cardano. Theta is a massively slept on giant, in my opinion. At $1.24, when I first started buying it, is around 65 cents. It's not that much higher than that. We still have a phenomenal entry, because it's also one of those coins that hasn't had a lot of marketing, hasn't had a lot of hype, but has been quietly building and doing massive things. As far as I know, they've got about 24 patents, and it's not only a streaming and decentralized streaming content network play, it's an AI play, a huge AI play. You can now download the Theta Edge node on your phone and just get paid in T-Fuel, which is like the gas on the network, for helping with these AI activities. So it is a massive AI play that is not talked about at all. And if you come here, the Theta Edge Cloud, empowering AI teams with unrivaled GPU price to performance. I mean, they're doing huge things in the background, and we're sitting at $1.24. I believe Theta could go to $25 to $30 this cycle, and well beyond that, to be honest. I believe we could even hit up to like $40 to $50. So I'm massively bullish on Theta. If not this cycle, next cycle, I believe this will stand the test of time as well. But for the interim, $10 to $15, I mean, $15 is its all-time high. So I would say $25 is a mid bullish price. So yeah, I'm very bullish on Theta. Here's just some more news on Sui. Sui is the most secure blockchain. Sui has just announced its first chain to provide validators with defense against internet routing attacks. That means Sui will continue to have 100% uptime, and your Sui will never be stolen. Well, big promises, but really cool things coming out of Sui. I'm more and more bullish on Sui the more research that I do. Now, just to give you a few charts from Capital Mindset that are ready to pop, that will also probably be bangers. This is a very long-term double bottom in the making. This is a one-day chart, so it's generally a much more explosive breakout, and we've just broken out from this falling wedge here, and the measured move is all the way up to 120. I believe now we're at a price of around 35. Or $30. So I just want to bring these to you guys as freebies, premiums for being a part of this channel. Beam USDT, BeamX just broke out of the by the breakout range. We have a massive inverted head and shoulders, and the breakout of the move is all the way up here at 0.032 cents. So another good one that's ready to pop. For more of that, again, the link is in the description below. I hope this episode helps. So just to sum it up, the top altcoins in my portfolio that I believe will have massive gains this cycle: Cardano, Theta, Ethereum, Avax, Solana, Sui, and Pepe as a meme coin, I believe, is very, very, these are all solid coins without digging too far into the trenches and taking on too much more risk. That is my opinion. If you want to keep it simple, I'll be doing another episode where I get a little bit deeper into the 50 to 100x potential. But for now, just remember, have a solid portfolio and don't cry when you get those 30 to 50% pullbacks, and hodl on, stay strong. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.